This week on NIntenDomain, we talk about the latest news and the stuff I got for Black Friday, and also talk about a couple gems for the Wii.
You know, might as well just assassinate some innocent animals while we're at it.
Get 'em. Welcome to episode 48 of NIntenDomain. We are your hosts, Trey Johnson.
And Jeremy Boomblocks Mikowski.
Yeah, Trey Jack Caveman Johnson. That's really his name of Mad World. But,
maybe it's Caveman.
I think they pronounce it differently. I think they say Caveman, or it sounds like Caveman or Cayman.
Maybe it's Caveman.
Maybe. But it looks like Caveman. Let's start off with the news. There was video game awards tonight. I think Nintendo got nominated for a couple things, but only won like one category. Did you watch any of that? I just looked at the updates of it. I didn't really watch the actual show.
No, I only really checked out the Zelda stuff from it.
Yeah, there was a new trailer. Watch that. Shows some life of Breath of the Wild. That shows a town that Link goes to, and you see like the side boob of Zelda. I think maybe.
Yeah, you see a little side boob. It's pretty nice.
Some sort of female blue tunic looking thing.
Thank God that airplane stopped flying overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at an airport right now, and there's just all these planes above me.
Apparently. Yeah, we're trying out a new recording setup, so there might be some planes flying by. But it won't be that loud, hopefully. But yeah, the new trailer showed some cool stuff. Showed like a bridge that looks like it might have been from another game. I don't know, kind of reminds me of the big bridges from Twilight Princess. I don't know if that's supposed to be anything. There's they do like some of the hieroglyphic type art on it, like kind of the same stuff they did in Wind Waker at the beginning, where like the eye cries and it turns into trees or whatever. Shows some season stuff where like the leaves change. But
yeah, it's definitely depicting it as some kind of old storybook with possibly, like you said, hieroglyphics instead of words. You're seeing all of like the intro stuff appears to be printed on paper.
Yeah.
Like you can see the texture of the paper and everything.
Yeah. Which reminds me of the intro for Wind Waker, which had the same thing, where it's like shows what happened from Ocarina of Time and all that. But yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it was pretty quick. There's a dog in it. Dogs are confirmed now for Breath of the Wild.
Dogs are confirmed. Other than Wolf Link Amiibo.
Yeah. Well, there's that one, but there was a dog in this one. And there's like, he goes to a town. So that's good to see that there's like structures and stuff in there.
We know you're not completely alone in the world. Well, we knew there was an old man, but we didn't know much else beforehand. Now we know there's at least one town.
Was the Master Sword always like kind of rusty and all that in the logo? Like I noticed that this time, where like the sword that's going through Zelda is like, it looks like like old, like it's falling apart and it's like rusty.
I think it always
like all brown.
looks that way.
Yeah. And I know they added the little like flowers or like the leaves growing under wild now.
I thought those were there before too.
No, I don't remember seeing them.
Cause there's kind of an emphasis on it being the wild, Breath of the Wild.
But I
think when they initially announced the title, it did that. Maybe I'm just, changing my memory from the past, but I thought I remembered those little flower things popping up.
Well, you guys, whoever listens to this, you guys can check it out and let us know. I'll leave the email at the bottom of the description. Email us about if it was in the beginning or not. I just noticed it this time. Maybe it was there before, maybe it wasn't, but it still looks cool regardless. Maybe it's animated a little bit differently. I don't know. And Legend of Zelda ended up winning the award for most anticipated game of next year also. So that's cool. Another thing I thought was kind of weird was that Xenoblade Chronicles X was nominated for this year.
Even though it came out last year.
Yeah, even though it came out last year. But I think that what happened last year was that the Video Game Awards happened before Xenoblade Chronicles X actually came out. So that's why it wasn't nominated, and why it was nominated this year is what I think. Cause Xenoblade didn't come out like more towards, maybe it didn't. I thought it came out in mid-December, and this normally happens at the beginning of December.
It was a late release. That would be good to check out. Yeah, but there's gotta be a cutoff because they have to put the show together. I'm sure there's gotta be a cutoff before, at least a few weeks before the show is aired. I mean, wouldn't you think they would have to have sort of have the whole thing prepared ahead of time.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't out yet by the time they did it, because it had just, well, this year it was December 1st. I don't know what year it was last year when the show was shown, but Xenoblade came out on the first week of December. So if they did the first week of December, they wouldn't have had any time to play it unless they would have sent it to them ahead of time. Whatever. I feel like it's like they probably showed the awards before the game had actually come out, and maybe that's why they put it in this year. It's just weird that they did that because it didn't come out this year. It came out last year, but I guess they felt like it needed some sort of notice because it was so good, I guess.
Well, it would be unfair if it was completely left out.
Yeah.
Because it missed a deadline. Like, it has to be. So there's got to be other games that come out late in the year that will show up next year on other systems and other categories.
Yeah, so Mario Maker 3DS, which came out today, technically, that could be on there. Well, by the time you'll be hearing this, it'll be out for sure, like in retailers. And also the new Amiibo release today as well. The Zelda ones do. The 8-bit Zelda, the 8-bit Link, the 2 Wind Wakers, and the Ocarina of Time Link come out this Friday as well. So if you're on the lookout for those, they'll be out there.
Supposedly, Toys R Us is putting more NES classics on their website this Sunday.
Oh, I actually got a little story to tell you about Toys R Us.
Oh,
let me tell you about Toys R Us and Black Friday. Apparently, I got lied to by one of their employees on Black Friday. So I went into. There was something that I left out last week, which I can't believe I totally missed it, but Toys R Us had a deal where you could buy 2 $20 games for $25, which is awesome. So I went there and I got, what was it? I got Lego City Undercover and Tomodachi Life for $25, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's like a $40. That's, $40 for 25. Anyway, I was talking to the people there about like NES classics, and I'm like, hey, are you guys getting more in, or did you get more in? And they were like, the one guy's like, well, we got this truck in, and it has like all the rest of the NES classics that we're going to get for the rest of the year. They're all in there. He's like, they're all in there, but we haven't unloaded it yet. And we're either going to unload it. He's like, we're either going to unload it tonight or tomorrow, but the best chance is probably tomorrow. So if you come in when we open tomorrow, they'll be out there. And I had to work early the next day, so I couldn't go in there, but I went in there after I got off work, and I just went in there just to check, and I'm like, hey, did you guys like unload that truck that you had last night? And they're like, what truck? And I'm like,
that sounds like bullshit to me, man.
I'm like, the truck with the NES classics on it. And they're like, oh yeah, we never had that truck. And I'm like, what?
The truck with it. I know, man, like you would think, I know you would, like in the moment when you're talking to an employee, you would trust them, but in retrospect, that sounds like bullshit.
Oh yeah, but I was like,
there's just a truck out back that's got all of them in it. We just haven't unloaded it yet.
Yeah, he's like, we got the last ones we're gonna have for the end of the night. We're probably gonna unload it tonight. You come back tomorrow, we might have some. Is basically what he said. I mean, it sounded like legitimate, He didn't tell me there's like 100 in there or something. But yeah, he was like not there, and everybody else was there, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill that fucker. But
I think
not really. But yeah, that's what
he told me. His last day working or something. Like maybe he was quitting that day. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like he was trolling you, man, and that's bullshit because that's not cool. But
all I did was ask him about all I did was ask him if they got any more NES classics for Black Friday, because a lot of places did, from what I heard. Like Target apparently got a few. Like everywhere I went said that they got some, but they all sold out. Except for Toys R Us. They said that they had a magical truckload.
They had a truck full of them in the back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say that I don't believe that there's not eventually going to be trucks full of them. Let's hope there are.
Well, he didn't say that's, that it was, there was actually a whole truck of NES classics.
Right.
He said that he had gotten
shipment.
He said he had gotten a shipment that's in a truck there that hadn't been unloaded yet, but that's all the rest they're going to get for the rest of the year. So hopefully told other people that, and they just won't come back. So I don't know. I'm actually planning on going to a couple places at opening tomorrow just to see if they get more, because I figured that since Nintendo's releasing more stuff this Friday, like with the Amiibo and the Super Mario Maker, there's a good chance that there might be some more NES classics in there. And there might be more $100 3DSs too, which I didn't see those anywhere. Just I was looking around to see if they were anywhere. But apparently, a different guy at Toys R Us told me that they got a bunch of them, and people came and stood in line for them, and they handed out tickets to all the people that were there, and they all got their new 3DS, and then they just sold the rest of them out like by like noon, just by people coming in and getting them. So supposedly if anybody would have gone over there and wanted one, they could have gotten one. Actually, my roommate Conan, he found one. He said he found one at Walmart. He found a white one at Walmart. Like,
one of the
last
Mario
copy.
ones?
One of the $100 ones that came out.
Oh, okay. Did he get it?
Yeah, he got it.
Oh, cool.
He picked it up. He hasn't set anything up on it, but yeah, he got it. It's pretty slick looking. I looked at it, but
it's got that artwork looks cool, like the black and white artwork on it.
Yeah, with the Goombas and all that, or not Goombas, has like a chain chomp on it and some other stuff.
Which, as an aside, it's been several podcasts back that I mentioned I ordered those plates from Japan.
Yeah.
For my new 3DS. Still have not received them. I ordered them at the beginning of October. It's been over 2 months. I got a hold of the seller a week ago and was just like, hey, did you send that? Because I haven't received it yet. And he said, I sent it. Here's a refund. So I don't know if he ever actually sent it, but he gave me a refund.
Oh, yeah, well.
So I'll probably never get it. He just said, I sent it, but most likely the mail lost it. So here's a refund. So I don't know, like maybe he is legit. He did send it, but it also was just kind of like, here's a refund. Don't give me bad feedback. He did ask, please don't give me bad feedback. So.
Oh, well.
I'm still looking out for it, but I don't expect to ever see it.
Yeah, at least he refunded you.
Right. So that's, at this point I'm not out anything other than I'm just disappointed because I really wanted that Hanafuda plate. Probably never gonna have it.
Oh, maybe. Hopefully. There's, what was it? I guess, I don't know if Super Mario Run the date had been announced last week. I know we didn't talk about it, but it does have a date now and it's coming out next Thursday. So that's cool. We definitely need to do a show about that. Are you planning on
supposedly, Reggie is scheduled to be on, Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, one of the two, the week before.
One of the Jimmys.
Yeah, one of the Jims.
Yeah. Are you, we didn't talk about the price before. We should have talked about this last week, but are you planning on getting Super Mario Run for $10? I know it's kind of a steep one, but I'll probably get it just for the show. But
I'm going to be able to evaluate it separate because it's coming out for iOS and I have an Android phone. It's only coming out for iOS initially.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't have an Apple phone.
So unless my girlfriend wants to let me use her phone, which I'm not even going to mess with because I'd rather have it on my own phone that I could make progress on.
Yeah, then you can play it whenever you want.
So I don't have an iOS. She has a new iPhone, but that's her phone and she always has it, so I can't play the game on it really.
Yeah, you could do it like when she's asleep and play it. Okay,
that's true.
That's creepy.
It's creepy. It's just that I would lose all my progress when I finally get it on Android.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm mainly concerned with, and being able to play it whenever I want, not just when she's sleeping.
Yeah, I'm wondering how extensive it is and there's a free to play version also, I guess, there's like a demo of type, where you can play to a certain point and it'll be like, okay, now you gotta put $10 on here.
Yeah, I think it's free to start, is what they call it.
Yeah. So it'll be like, now you gotta pay $10. So hopefully there's enough stuff on there. I don't know. I'll try it out for sure, but I hope it's not like Miitomo, which I don't really play it at all. But in my Black Friday stuff that I got, like I said, from Toys R Us, I got Tomodachi Life. And that game's a shitload of fun. I've basically been playing that more than anything else that I got for Black Friday. So it's really fun. It's like very much like Animal Crossing like kind of, except it's all like pointer based. You don't really have to run around the town, but it's all basically about, you can put whatever, you have like a giant apartment building and you can put whatever people you want in there. So I've been like scanning the internet for like weird Miis that I could find that people have made. Like I have like the girl from The Exorcist is like the possessed girl. She lives in the apartment.
Oh, nice.
And like Leela from Futurama lives there, and like Ashley from WarioWare is in there, and like Peach and Zelda, and like Satoru Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto, like they're in there too, and like Venom from Spider-Man's there, and like Dark Samus, and like some other weird Miis that I downloaded off the internet, because you can scan QR codes and put them in there. So I was looking for like bizarre ones, and I got a couple of my friends in there. Like you're in there, and Jess is in there, and like
nice.
I think my friend Fidel is in there too. But yeah, it was just kind of like I'm trying to find make it equal like between guys and girls. So I've just been scanning the internet mostly for female Miis, because all I really have are mostly like superhero ones and stuff like that I made or picked up off the internet. So
it's a regular sausage fest in your Miiverse.
Well, I made it so it isn't. Now I have 8 and 8 guys and 8 girls, so I made it equal all the way around. But yeah, I made since it was your birthday yesterday, I made a birthday card on Tomodachi Life, which you can do.
Oh, so that was from Tomodachi. I thought that might have been from Miitomo, but I couldn't figure out how you did it.
Oh no, that was from Tomodachi Life. Cause I put you in the town, like right on your birthday, and then they started singing happy birthday to you, and I'm like, oh shit. It's his birthday. So then I texted you, and I didn't get a picture of that, of the me singing happy birthday to you, which I wish I would have, but I was more trying to send the text. But then I found there's like where you can make photos, and I could make like sort of a Last Supper type thing with you having a strawberry cake and everybody standing around you. And I put like people that that I thought you would think were cool. And if I had a me of Amanda, I would have put her on there too, but I didn't have a me of her. So don't I hope she doesn't feel left out. But I
had no idea it was from Tomodachi, so.
Yeah, but
I just straight up thought it was from, Miitomo.
No, it was from Tomodachi Life, which is a lot of fun. I mean, if you can, I'd totally recommend it. It's one of those games that I always really wanted to get, but I never got it. But I've been playing it most out of all the stuff I got for Black Friday. Cause it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of weird Japanese stuff in it, and I like that about it. Like you can see, like your characters fall asleep and you can see their dreams, and their dreams are always weird. And there's like rap battles in it. Like I found a rap battle. There's like all this like weird random stuff that's in there that you can find, and you can buy different decorations for your houses and all that, and like theme things. And it's silly. I mean, if you have Miis that you think are cool, or you want to make a house with like celebrities in it or whatever, it could be fun, So I've just been playing around with that. It's fun stuff to do. It's very much like Animal Crossing, where you play it for a little bit and then you've played about as much as you can. You put it down and then try it again, and then some shit's changed, and they have different stuff for you to do, and you can play games with the characters and all that.
Cool, but they're all like demons, right? Or spirits, something like that. Isn't that part of it?
No, there's no.
What's what was the game where Bill Trinan ate all the donuts because of the demon?
That's Yokai Watch.
Shit, I'm getting confused with something else.
Yokai Watch is like Pokemon with spirits, with ghosts. Tomodachi Life is like a simulation game. It's basically like Miitomo, except it's fun to play. And you're not just...
And I do remember comparisons being made to that game after Miitomo came out.
Yeah, Miitomo is kind of like a light version of Tomodachi Life, I guess. Except for Tomodachi Life isn't like, hey, what did you have for breakfast? Let's talk about what you had for breakfast. There's like none of that on there. It's like you have the apartment buildings with all the people, and the one guy will be like, hey, I'm hungry, and you give him food, and he'll either like the food or he won't like the food. And if he likes the food, you can kind of gain experience, and you guys can get to new levels and all that. And you get extra presents and stuff whenever you get new levels, and you can like tell him, you can get him to say different things, Like I have a character that says Buka Snack Snack, referencing that duck video that I haven't put online yet, but hope to at some point.
Buka Snack Snack?
Yeah, don't remember Buka Snack Snack?
Oh, is that what?
That was something you came up with.
That's what Dewey said, or what the lobster said?
No, that's what the girl duck says, I think, when he sees her. When he finds his girlfriend duck. Or the duck that's a girl. I think she says Buka Snack Snack instead of quack. I think is what it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We're completely off topic, but hopefully if you watch our YouTube channel at all, you'll see that on there eventually. YouTube.com/Fingmater.
This will all make sense eventually.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember how I got. Oh yeah, that's what I told him to say. And I think one of the characters says Metal Crop too, just to bring it back old school from Animal Crossing.
Wow, yeah, that's old school.
I had a character that said Metal Crop in Animal Crossing, so I brought it over. Yeah, you can make them say whatever. Like one of the guys says "Wubba Dub Dub," just because that's Rick and Morty. But yeah, you make them say whatever you want, and you make them do different dances too. And they say it. It's a silly game, but it's super fun and totally worth it. And I pretty much got it for like $5, or I guess I got it for like $12 since I did the buy 2 for $25 thing with it. So it's totally worth it.
So did you make out with I guess did we talk about Black Friday last episode? I just don't remember.
Yeah, we talked about what the deals were, but we didn't talk about what you
nabbed.
Yeah, cause I went out for all of it. We might as well just get into my Black Friday stuff. I went to Toys R Us, I went to Target, I went to Best Buy, and I went to GameStop. It was like my 4 places that I went to for Black Friday. And I went to the eShop also because there's Black Friday deals in there. But I bought what did I buy? Okay, so I bought this non-Nintendo, but I bought Star Wars Battlefront for $9 at GameStop because, it was $9. Why not? And, what did I do after that? I went to Target and I bought the Kirby Robobot for $25. That's like almost half off. It's not really 40. And I went to Best Buy and I got Fire Emblem Fates Birthright for $25. And I also found 3 amiibo that I'd never seen before. I got Lucina, which was $8, which was on sale for some reason. The Fire Emblem one. I got Lucina for $8 and Pit and Gold Mario for a regular price amiibo. But I haven't seen either of those anywhere ever, so I got those.
Oh, you got Gold Mario.
Yeah, I got Gold Mario. It was like the last one there, and I'd never seen one before, so I picked it up just for hell of it. And I think, and then I went to Toys R Us and I bought the Lego City Undercover and Tomodachi Life for $25. So it wasn't too bad. Like I came out with, I think I got everything for like just a little bit over 100, like maybe like 120, something like that.
You said you got stuff off the eShop?
Yeah, I did. I got what was it? I bought the Kirby Return to Dreamland on Wii because that was half off. I got that for $9, and I bought Lego Star Wars for $20 because that was on for $20. It's reduced from $60 when it came out, so I thought that was a pretty good deal.
My dumb self got on the eShop last night, thinking I could get the birthday discount still, but it was after midnight, and I'm thinking, for some reason in my head, it made no sense. But I thought I had an extra day, but my birthday happens at the very end of the month, so once my birthday was over, I lost my discount.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was gone. It was December 1st by the time I was going over there to see what I could get, but it's okay. I don't know. I guess I wasted my birthday discount, which is kind of a bummer, but yeah, it's my own fault. But I just downloaded Majora's Mask for the 58th time.
Oh, yeah. I actually have a story about Majora's Mask, too.
Tell me.
Yeah. Well, did you have a problem with the discount on there, or did you buy it for Wii? The Majora's Mask?
I bought it for Wii, but yes, I was following the drama of the discount not showing up for people.
Oh, okay, because I actually called Nintendo about it and talked to them directly, and they said that they resolved the issue. I don't know if that was with everyone or with just me, but
it was with everyone.
The
discount wasn't showing up for anyone. And
okay.
A lot of people are saying like Nintendo did that on purpose. Well, not a lot. Some people were insinuating that they just thought maybe they could get a little extra money if they didn't do that. I don't think that was the case at all.
Yeah, they didn't sound like.
But no, by the time I downloaded it, which was last night, because like I said, I didn't get the discount, and I'm like, well, I'm going to download something. And I went to Majora's Mask and it was $2, so
yeah.
Grabbed it. So I feel good about it. I can play it on my gamepad, and I can play it on my 3DS, and I can play it on my 64, and I can play it on my Wii. I can play it anywhere I want.
You can, yeah. Yeah, no, I called them about it because I wanted to get it too, I wanted to get the $2 version because I like Majora's Mask. And, and it wasn't on there, and I called them and I was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, there's no discount. I had it already, and I'm like, I've looked online and there's other people running into the same problem here. So what's going on? And they're like, I don't know. And then they emailed me and said like, oh, sorry about this. We'll try to take care of it. And then they emailed me again and they're like, we resolved your issue. And then it was discounted. So I like to believe that it's like that I helped everyone get a discount. That it was all me. No, I'm sure
it's okay for you to think that you're part of that. And I think that's good. I think that Nintendo needs to know that their install base still wants to be taken serious. Like, you got a Wii U and you had a Wii. You're downloading the same game again, but you want to because of the extra the Wii U features with the Miiverse and all that, and the upscale or whatever they did to it. Because ultimately it is different than the Wii version.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. I loaded it up and played a bit of it last night. I'm probably gonna end up playing through that instead of the 3DS version.
Oh, the 3DS version is so good though. You should play the 3DS version. It looks better than the Wii U version.
I have it.
The 64 version, which of what it is.
And I have the 64 version, and I have the Wii version.
Yeah, well, so do I. And I have the cartridge version.
I have it on
blah,
4.
blah, blah.
Yeah, I've got it on 4 mediums currently. Not counting, probably somewhere I've got an emulator with it on there.
Well, the disc. Well, at one point, I sold the disc, but I think we talked about this. I had the GameCube disc with it on there. I think you did too.
Oh shit, yeah.
The Zelda one, yeah. So I did have 5 versions of it at one point.
No, wait, I don't have that one. I just have I have the Ocarina of Time and Master Quest. I don't have the one that had all the other stuff on it.
Oh, I thought you had the gold one that had Zelda 1 and 2 and
Well, I
Ocarina
used to.
and Majora.
But
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore either, but I did. Yeah, so did I.
$50 for it, I think. Back like a long time ago, like at least 5 years ago.
Yeah, I traded mine in for, I don't know, I probably traded it in for Twilight Princess or something stupid like that. Because I remember I traded a bunch of stuff for the Wii one when it came out, but yeah.
It's kind of funny, my brother has, because I purchased the Twilight Princess on GameCube, which I'm sure I've mentioned before. I bought it for my family for a Christmas present. I guess it would have been 10 years ago when it came out. And we found the disc and we found the case and everything to it, but we couldn't find, we found the instruction book, but like the front page of it was missing. I'm like, what happened to that? And I'm talking to my brother about it. And then the other day I was over there and he pulled out this like scrapbook thing that he had made back when he was in like junior high, and he had cut the cover off and put it in the scrapbook. Like,
oh, the Twilight Princess GameCube?
Yeah, the
cover?
GameCube. Yeah, the cover from the instruction manual for the GameCube version. He had it glued with a glue stick to a piece of notebook paper, and he calls it his junk journal, and it was just sort of it's kind of like a scrapbook / journal where he would like glue stuff with a glue stick, and he had cut off the cover of that game, put it in there. Which at the time, whatever, it was 10 years ago.
It's cool.
He made part of his journal, but now I'm just like, why isn't that still attached to the book? But it's not even mine. I mean, he owns it. It's his. At this point, he's the one that owns it.
Sure. We
found every element of the GameCube version that I owned before. Well, I didn't own it, but that my family owned.
Sure. That is the better version.
So I've heard.
That's what everyone will learn with Breath of the Wild too. The Wii.
Still the only one I played all the way through to the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't finish the Wii one. I got all the way to Ganon and then kind of stopped because I wanted to catch all those ghosts, but I didn't want to catch all those ghosts. So I kind of put off, finishing it. But I should one of these days. Yeah. Did you want to talk more about the, video game nominations?
Well, I did want to mention that, so you mentioned you saw the new preview, and the new preview showed that there was a village and everything, so that's cool. Yeah. But I watched another video that was released, which was Bill Trinan playing it with some other gentleman. I don't know who the guy was. But they were doing a let's play of one of the shrines, and it was heavily edited, like it would do a lot of jump cuts through it, and it's only about 2 minutes long. But they're running around, and then they find like this character that's hanging out, and it's like a parrot. But it's like an anthropomorphic parrot, so he's bigger than Link. He's got like a parrot's head, but he's got kind of a more humanish body, and he's got a bunch of sheet music rolled up, and it's carried on his belt. So I think he's some kind of music guy, and you get new songs from him. And anyway, so he asks Link if he wants to hear this song, and essentially Link listens to the song and he learns where the shrine is through the clues. So Bill and the other guy are using the clues to try to find the shrine. They find the shrine, and they battle a few enemies to get to it, and they fight this mini boss character, defeat him, and then they see the treasure, and then they cut the video short. But I thought it was cool that there was this other NPC that they say shows up all around the map. He's this parrot looking guy, anthropomorphic parrot.
Yeah, I did not.
He's going to be an important part of the quest, I think.
Yeah, I did not see that, and I wasn't. Yeah, I'm not sure where to find it online.
Just go to the Nintendo YouTube page. It's on there.
Okay, that's cool though.
Because if you just go to their page and then just go to videos based on when they were released, you'll see the newest trailer, and that video was right after it released on the channel.
Oh, okay.
So it may not have actually been from the award show, but I think it must have been because it was released at the same time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, we didn't actually watch the award show. I wish they would have said something about what the release date was going to be for.
Well, they just said 2017, and Bill actually said that. He's at the end of the video, he's like, "All right, well, you can find out more about this when you play the copy." You play your own copy of Zelda in 2017. That's all he said.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so there was he didn't say March. So I think we pretty much know it's not going to be released in March at this point because he would not commit to March in his,
yeah, he said 2017.
In his Let's Play, yeah.
It's like, well, 2017 hasn't started yet, and we might have enough time to get it done by then. Pretty much is what they're saying.
But remember what Shigeru said? He said, a good game is always good eventually, but a bad game, wait, what did he say? A good game that's delayed will be good eventually, but a bad game that's released too early will always be bad.
Yeah, well, that's correct. And they live by that because they like to delay things. I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, IGN released a list. They did this like top 10 signs you've played Nintendo too much, and like top 10 signs you've played PlayStation too much or whatever. And I remember one of the signs was, whenever you go to a restaurant, you like to have your food delayed like 5 times before you actually eat it. Was one of their jokes from that. So I always think about that. We talk about delaying in Nintendo.
Well, as far as I know, the only game in the whole Zelda series, in my memory, like since I've been following it, since the late 90s or whatever, was that came on time and was like a total like blowout as far as being a great game, was Majora's Mask.
Oh,
yeah. It came out 2 years after Ocarina, and it was a great game, and it stood the test of time.
And there was no delays on that one?
As far as I know, I don't think it was delayed. I think it came out right when they said it would.
Oh, okay.
Which leads me to believe like they may have been working on it already.
Well, they had a time frame for it too.
Before Ocarina was released.
Because they only had like 2 years to work on it. They from the beginning, they were like, get it out on this time, so.
Maybe that's part of the whole, like, maybe that influenced the gameplay of it being so frantic and you have a time limit. Like, maybe the development team just, like, channeled that into the game itself, that they were stressed about having to get it done so quickly. But,
I don't know.
Needless to say, when did Skyward Sword come out? It came out in 2011, right?
Could have been. I don't remember what year Skyward Sword came out.
This will be, I think, the longest between Zelda games. 6 years.
Well, I mean, don't forget about a little game called A Link Between Worlds, because A Link Between Worlds is technically the last Zelda game that came out.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So I guess you can't more and more, and they're already creating that sense that you can't separate the portable and the console units from each other anymore, like in the Zelda universe. Because there's also been like both of the Phantom games that came out before Skyward Sword came out. I don't remember people using those as a defense for the delay.
Well, A Link Between Worlds came out in 2013, so I guess it hasn't been that long. It's been like 3 years, I guess, almost 4 years. But yeah, I consider that to be the last, because that was the latest one, and that was the one where you didn't have to buy items and all that, and you could do the levels in whatever order you wanted.
And sort of kind of reflected in Breath of the Wild that you can sort of approach it at your own pace.
Yeah. So like if you're looking to say like what the new Zelda would be like, I would look more to that one, I guess. Because that was like the one that had the newest stuff in it, I guess, even though it was like kind of built on an older thing. I
mean, it was pretty much a remake of Link to the Past.
I mean, except it had like different weapons and different levels. And
it had pretty much the same weapons.
I mean, I don't remember any like tornadoes in the original one that you could use.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember sticking to walls either as painting.
Well, that's why I say it's not a remaster, it's a remake. It's a reimagining.
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't call it a remake. You could say, you could argue.
It's a reimagining of A Link to the Past. How about that?
But it's actually a sequel because the Link from A Link to the Past is in the game, and he's old.
Yeah.
So it's not
But it's in that universe, so it's... Yeah, so it's like a direct sequel to that game, really.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that's what it is. It's a sequel to Link to the Past. But it's not, I wouldn't consider it a reimagining or a remake, because it has characters from the original one that have aged. Well, it has Link in there that has aged. But, you could consider it to take place in the same world, sort of. But stuff is in different places, and Low Rule is different than the Dark World and all that. But
and it has its own princess.
It does, and there's an annoying bunny character in it, which I guess was a reference to the bunny character from Link to the Past that you turn into.
Yep. Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying waiting on this new Zelda game has almost become, the delays have become expected to where, whatever. Like, let's say the Switch does debut with a really strong launch lineup, then I don't think any of us are going to care that Zelda's getting delayed. Because having Zelda come out as a launch title might detract from the other great games that are out at launch.
Yeah, well, if they release Zelda and that Skyrim game or whatever at the same time, they're going to sell more Zeldas than that. than Skyrim, so maybe they thought that maybe it's a good idea to not do that. So hopefully since people can't have Zelda, they'll get this other crappy version of an adventure game called Skyrim and enjoy that one.
Yeah. So. Skyrim's just like that Batman game all over again, Well, even worse because we're talking about
Batman.
Which one? The Arkham remastered or whatever.
Yeah.
It was already like nearly a 2-year-old game.
Yeah. But this one just got re-released, so if it's like that re-release version, I guess it's not that much older. Because it'll only be like 3 months after the remastered version was released, so if it's that same one, I guess it's not as bad. But still, I wish it would have been I wish it was something new and not something that's already out.
Well, we can pretty much just plan on there being a lot of ports, because that's kind of the standard that's been set by the other. If they're competing on the same level, then we're just going to see a reflection of what Xbox and PlayStation did, where they just did remasters.
Yeah. I'm just hoping there's a lot of 5-year-old games that they put on there because, we need that.
And that's already happening again with the PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
Or the PS4 Pro or whatever. Like, you're already just seeing like a whole lot of like, if you look at what's being released, they're doing comparisons between, you might want to get the PS4 Pro because this is the difference between if you played it on your system. It's like a 3DS versus new 3DS thing, but at a more expensive level.
Yeah. Except I didn't think, I heard somewhere that that they weren't going to necessarily make games that only ran on PlayStation 4 Pro. Like the whole reason to get it was for like 4K capabilities and to make like the VR run smoother.
Yeah.
But there's not actually going to be, whereas like 3DS had specific games that only, like 2. Unless you count the Super Nintendo ones. But they had games that would only work with that.
And some of the indie games.
Well, I mean, for the new 3DS, it's basically like Binding of Isaac and Xenoblade are the only things that only
Well, if you go to the
3DS.
eShop, you'll see there's a few others that have been indie games where they've just said, well, we're only releasing this on new 3DS. Which is stupid, but
I didn't see that.
Maybe it's easier to
Binding of
program
Isaac.
for.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying, that there won't be games that won't play on PS4 or whatever. Mario Maker come out today? Did you get that? Did you end up picking up that game?
I did. I downloaded it, and I went through a struggle in my mind of whether I wanted to buy the physical copy or download it. I just kind of resolved that this is the kind of game you want to have installed.
Yeah, so you can play it whenever you want.
Right. It's the kind of game you jump in and out of a lot, and you don't want to... I think the whole process of that is going to be made easier if it's just on your internal memory, so... when I did download it, an interesting thing, which you may have read, it creates some kind of save file on your SD card, which is where all your data is saved. So if you actually own the cartridge, you can't just pass it from like friend to friend to use it.
Yeah, it'll rewrite it. Yeah,
it rewrites everything, and so you lose all your shit if you let someone borrow it and they create new save data.
So I'm sure that helped to persuade you to get the downloadable version then.
It did.
Since it's not,
so I downloaded
don't need the,
I've put maybe around 5 minutes of time into it. I had just gotten it when you contacted me tonight. You actually reminded me it was available tonight, which for some reason I thought it wasn't coming out until next week because I've just been kind of out of it this week. And, I got it, and so far I like it. I've been playing the Mario Challenge mode, played a few levels into that, and it's like 12 worlds, and I don't know how many levels are in each world, but it looks like it's pretty much a full Mario campaign, like a full classic Mario campaign built into the game.
Yeah, I heard that part's totally worth it, like to play through all of that. But the whole, how you can't download levels and all that is kind of what sucks about it. But you didn't actually try building anything, right? Because I hear that you kind of have to start from scratch again. Like you have to wait for the stuff to get unlocked the same way you would if in the Wii U version, which kind of sucks if you had made levels in the Wii U one. You have to kind of go back to waiting for like a certain thing to open at a certain time and all that.
Well, all I know so far is that whatever the demo level it starts the game with, I could change between themes. And so pretty much while it was creating that file to my SD card, which took a while, it showed an image of I can't remember his name now, but he's a pigeon. I think he's in the Wii U version.
Yeah.
But he's like your tutorial character. And while you're waiting on this file to download, he's up on the top screen eating a bunch of edamame, while it's still in the pod. And that's kind of the progress bar of the file being created as he eats more and more of the edamame. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. But and then Mario shows up. She's like a call center looking lady with like a headset on. She'll just pop in from time to time to be like, oh, don't mind this character, which I can't remember his name now, the pigeon. He really knows what he's doing as a master, blah, blah, blah. But she's kind of there to like, whenever he starts to go overboard, she like jumps in to sort of like bring him down to earth. Yeah. So it's kind of a little humorous thing they got going on with the tutorial, but I skipped the initial tutorial and the pigeon was kind of pissed at me. He's like, are you sure you don't want to do the tutorial? And I said, no. He's like, fine, whatever. I guess you'll just go through the menu later to look at it. So there's like a menu you can go to select the tutorials. But he was pretty pissed at me that I didn't go through the tutorial. But I wanted to hop right into the challenge mode to see what that was all about. That looks like that's probably where I'm going to hang out for a little while playing the game. But I'll definitely fuck with the level creation. And I'll have a little more information next weekly podcast about my impressions of the game. So far, it's cool. The resolution's interesting because, I don't know, the resolution of the 3DS screen is nice. Okay, for one, I will say there is no 3D. I haven't seen any 3D in it so far.
Oh, really?
Even with it bumped all the way to the top. But the resolution on the screen's interesting. You can read what it says, but everything's really small, and that's kind of like reveals that it's a port a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's not tailored to the screen a little better with as far as like, your points and your timer and everything on the screen are really, really tiny and really like fine, like a really fine font. You can make out what it says, but it's still like almost uncomfortably small.
Yeah, it's like what you'd expect from the Wii U, like the font of Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah,
like that, like how it's all super tiny because they expect you to play it on a big TV. So
I kind of wonder if that's something I might be complaining about next week a little more. But I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try to create a few test levels and maybe give you a little story about them next week.
Hope to street pass them to somebody since you can put them online.
Right. There's a lot of limitations to it, but I like it so far. I mean, in the 5 minutes I played of it. And for me, I'm just trying to look at it as a new Mario game for the handheld. And the last 2D Mario game for 3DS was New Super Mario Bros. 2, which I have, and which is fun. I'm on at the very end of that. It's another game I haven't beaten, but so I'm happy to have another side-scrolling Mario game to play through. As far as the challenge mode goes, that's how I'm going to treat it. And I'll have a lot more to say next week, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, next week
especially since I can take this with me.
Yeah. Next week we'll have a double Mario. Then we'll have Mario Run and Super Mario Maker. So I'll give you Mario Run, and you could say Super Mario Maker.
There we go.
We'll do that. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, you want to take a break here in a sec?
Yeah, I wanted to say one quick thing before we went to take a break. I was playing the Kirby whatever it's called. Kirby Return to Dreamland. The Wii one. And I played a Kirby Robobot. Planet Robobot, and they look, the graphics are like the same. Like it's like the same Kirby models on both of them, which I noticed, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like the 3DS one looks just as good as the Wii one did. Like the way like Kirby moves and like the way he swallows stuff and all that, it's like the exact same 3D model from the Wii one, as I noticed that from playing both of those back to back. So that's kind of cool. And Robobot looks really cool. And it's nice, for me it's really nice to play a game that's not an RPG, because I feel like all I've been playing lately are RPGs.
Oh, right.
Which I love RPGs. That's like my favorite genre, but it kind of was a breath of fresh air to play something that wasn't an RPG. So I liked playing like Kirby Robobot and playing the Lego City game, which I just played a little bit of. And this is the 3DS one, the prequel. I haven't even played the Fire Emblem game because I just can't.
You've got too much on your plate right now.
I have too much RPG stuff that I'm like in the middle of that I don't want to start another RPG right now. Cause I'm already, cause I got like Dragon Quest and I got Pokemon and I have like the fucking, the Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and not to mention like Xenoblade, both of them, Xenoblade X and Xenoblade regular, and Mario and Luigi and Dream Team and all that stuff. Way too many, and Pokemon, and yeah. RPGs. But yeah, anyway, let's take a break and get to a subject that doesn't involve RPGs, actually. Another thing that I played this week that's not an RPG. We'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Let's go. Yeah, he that beat. Spit that fire, kill that beat. Pull that smoke and breathe that heat. DJ's gon' put that on repeat. Grind time, I hurt that street. This is work, it ain't no sleep. Push until your body weak. If you don't win, then you don't eat. Yeah, my crew don't know defeat. All we know is how to beat the brakes. Hard for anybody out there trying to stop the cheese. Ain't nobody stopping me. He blames a copper plea, and I'ma put this mic through their face for trying to mock me, beat. Until we falling out, breaking the law, we out of control, we down the road. Y'all wanna get it up, then let me know. If we can put it on blast and tell it. Until we falling out, breaking the law, we out of control, we down the road. Y'all wanna get it up, then let me know. If we can put it on blast.
So another game that I played this week was, which we talked about last week. Another non-RPG, like I said before the break, but I played Mad World. I think it's a gem, a Wii gem, I guess. And even though I talked about it being incredibly short last week, I actually didn't make it all the way through. I probably played about halfway through it, but I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it either due to work and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I haven't played the Wii in a while, so getting back into the waggle was a little weird because you got to waggle a lot in that game.
Yeah, so it's very motion control based, right? And like based on combinations with what you do with the control stick.
No, it's kind of like
the nunchuck.
Sort of. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the way No More Heroes controlled. You know, where like you'll hit some buttons and it'll tell you to like wave it up, and then you wave it up and it does something, you know? Kind of like that. Like where,
okay.
So there's like, the only real, like you shake the nunchuck to do like a backflip to like dodge. You do that. And if you hold the B button, you pull out your chainsaw. And if you like go left to right, he'll swipe left to right. And if you go like up to down, he'll swipe up to down, and you can cut guys in half or like cut people like down the middle with that. But that's the only real motion thing that you do. The rest you do with buttons. But there's like quick time events in there that you do with motion. So that's like what that is, you know? It'll be like, especially with bosses, like somebody will like shoot, like one guy like shoots a couple bullets at you and you gotta like move the Wiimote down to slice through the bullets with your chainsaw and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like sort of quick time event things where you have to like shake in a certain way to beat whatever the mini game is, it seems like. So there's a lot of them where it's like you're fighting a guy with your chainsaw and he has a sword or whatever, and you're like locked and you gotta shake the remote and the nunchuck as much as you can to try to beat him or whatever. So there's a lot of shaking it in that way. But the basis combat of it isn't really.
So it's kind of like God of War a little bit, maybe, would you say? Like
God of War, kind of, minus like all
go
the
through like
and
a
all
sort
that.
of beat the enemy animation, like a fatality sort of thing. When you finally finish them off?
Yeah, you do. There's like finishing moves. There's finishing moves for everyone, actually. I mean, you like beat somebody down and then it'll show like, it'll have like a little skull that like flashes in the bottom, and you hit like A or B and he'll do something to them, you know, depending on what it is. But you can also, like the thing that I thought was coolest about it was like the environmental stuff you can use. Like you can create combos by using stuff in the environment on them. Like you can take a tire and put a tire around the guy where he can't move his arms, and then you can take a street sign and put the street sign through his head, and then take him and throw him into like a rose bush, which they call it, which is just spikes. Or you can like throw him into a garbage can, which will cut him in half, or like stuff like that. And like the more of the stuff you build together, the higher your score gets. And each level's set to a certain way that when your score gets to a certain part, it unlocks like a bonus round called Bloodbath Challenge, and then eventually unlocks like the boss part, you know, of that level. So it kind of bases around points pretty much, but also like, you know, moving to the next part. But I think it controls more like Final Fight more than anything else, you know, like that type of beat 'em up type stuff.
So it's kind of it's more of a brawler.
Yeah, it's a brawler. It reminds me of that, but updated and super overly violent, and, you know, like really high art style and all that with the black and white. There was actually a sequel to it on PS3, which I didn't realize, the game called Anarchy Reigns, which I have never played, but apparently they made a sequel to it. But it's not black and white from what I can tell, but.
Okay. So stylistically, this reminds me, and I haven't read the comic books, but,
Sin City?
Sin City, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually.
The character even kind of looks like, that character
Marv.
they introduced you to at the beginning. Yeah.
He looks like Marv, kind of. You talk about the big guy, right? That's like.
Yeah.
The guy with Goldie and all that, the way he has the prostitute that he sleeps with.
Yeah, he looks like Marv.
Yeah, he does kind of look like Marv. And I read a little bit of development stuff from the guys who made the game. And it was made by Platinum, the same guys who did Beautiful Joe and Bayonetta. Those guys. Bayonetta and Wonderful 101 and all that stuff. So they, they definitely were comic inspired, and Beautiful Joe was super comic inspired. But yeah, they definitely said that they took a lot of stuff from Sin City, which I understand. I mean, they wanted to, from what I read in the development, they wanted the violence to be, to stick out more. So that's why they made it like black and white with red blood and all that. And there's also like special, the sound effects are in a different color also. And there's certain things like on the map that are different colors. And like when you get a power up, it's differently colored. Like if you find like a heart that gives you an extra life, that's red, that sticks, so that'll stick out. But yeah, they made it the way it was to make it overly violent, I guess, which is such a weird thing for Wii, where it's like, oh, the Wii's popular, so let's make these like really mature games. Cause Sega produced that one and House of the Dead Overkill like at the same time, and they both didn't sell very well, so they're like, well, maybe we shouldn't do mature games. But I always thought that they didn't sell because they weren't like long games, like people always consider that when they buy games. It's like, I don't know, I mean, like I said before, Mad World's like a beat 'em up that you could probably beat in a couple sittings. And same with House of the Dead. House of the Dead's a Lycan game. You can play through it in one sitting. It's kind of like, if it was like a adventure game that was super bloody, then maybe they would have sold more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it really boiled down to the maturity of the game as to why it didn't sell.
Or maybe if it was a multiplayer game, because that was a big Wii thing also.
Well, I mean, House of the Dead Overkill was multiplayer, and you also have to like play through it multiple times to unlock different guns and stuff like that. But from like an outsider's viewpoint who hasn't actually played the game, I understand it being like a little bit like, I don't want to drop $60 on this game that I'll probably beat in one sitting. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that mentality, and I was disappointed by Mad World when I got it because it was so short. Cause I had dropped like $60 in it, or $50, I guess it was still then, but I paid full price for it, and I was like, well man, I just beat it in a couple days, and there's not really a whole lot to do after you beat it. You can go through it on the hard mode, and you get a new weapon, but it's like, it wasn't enough. It didn't seem to be enough to keep me into it. I mean, I thought the game was beautiful, and I liked playing it, but it was like, I don't know, it could have had a little bit more. Like, they should have added like some alternate pathways or like different endings or stuff like that, to keep you coming back. So
well, I will say, you can get this game pretty cheap. I've got it right now. I have it. I haven't been able to play it because I lost my nunchuck, but I paid $2.99 for it. I don't know when I bought it, but I bought it at GameStop for $2.99.
I saw it on eBay for like $5, so you got it for less, but yeah, that's what I figured, like single digits. I was gonna ask you, do you only have one nunchuck in your whole house? Wow.
What's really annoying is that I powered on my Wii and tried to turn on my classic controller, and it showed up as the second controller, which leads me to believe that the Wiimote's somewhere around. It was being activated, and it's got batteries, but I can't find it. It's got the nunchuck attached to it. So it's somewhere underneath something in my house, and I can't find it. It's really frustrating.
Did you like toss it when you're playing Super Paper Mario or something?
Someday I'll you'll either see it or I'll send you a picture of the way my gaming setup is now, but I've got everything, all my gaming stuff is condensed into like a really small footprint, but it's kind of cluttered. So even though it's all really close to me, it's really easy for things to get lost in the chaos. I need to go through and reorganize everything. When I hooked up my computer last week, I kind of just threw some stuff around, and I think I might have thrown it somewhere, which is really annoying because I really wanted to play Mad World. I've had the game for over a year at this point. I bought it as part of like I'd gone into GameStop and they were doing one of those like buy two get one free or something like that. So I'd bought a few games, and I was like, well, I always wanted to play Mad World. I've had it and just waiting to play it, and so I've got the disc. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
but it looks cool. I do remember watching you play it back when
I don't know if it'd be your cup of tea, because I know you like stuff that's a little bit, less serious and all that. And this one's not really serious, but it's like super over the top violence and.
Well, I like No More Heroes. I played both of those, and I liked, I like the Resident Evil games. There's certain games that I'm still cool with, even though they're hyper violent. Like,
sure. And a lot of the, one of the most annoying things about this game is the announcers. Like they like say a lot of really stupid stuff, and they say like the same thing a lot of times. You go hear this, like I was playing it yesterday and I probably heard them say the same thing like 6 times, like in one level. And it's like, come on guys, like get some new material. But they talk about like, they talk about like talk against their wives and stuff like that, and it's kind of like annoying and like sort of sexist, I guess, a little bit. Some of the announcing. I understand it's supposed to be their assholes and it's like the future and all that, but it just gets irritating. Like I after a while, I kind of wanted to just switch them off.
So like the story of this game, from what I'm reading on the back of the disc, is that you're in like a futuristic game show where you have to survive, right?
Yeah, it's basically like, it's post-apocalyptic future. Some sort of gas was released that like made everybody crazy and like they all want to fight each other now. And, basically your main dude, Jack, is like an undercover operative. He works for some whatever police person, spoilers, you know, he works for some sort of thing and he like goes undercover to try to get into this thing that's called Death Watch, which is basically what the show is. And you go in, it's actually kind of set up like, No More Heroes, where it's like, there's, you know, numbers for everybody. Like he starts off at 100 and he wants to get up to 1. So as you beat each boss, your level gets lower and lower, you know, until you get to the final 4 and all that. Basically how it is. And there's like some motorcycle levels in there that are different, but most of it's kind of like, you know, brawling. But there's at least like, there's like maybe 3 or 4 levels per section, and each section that you go to has a different type of character in it. So there's different levels. There's like a downtown area that has like regular thuggish looking guys with chains and stuff. And then there's a level called Little Asia or Asia Town or whatever, and you fight like ninjas in there, and then you have to rescue geishas and stuff like that. And then after that there's like a horror world where you fight like zombies, which kind of look like mummies actually, and there's like werewolves in it, and there's a part where you fight Frankenstein's monster and like stuff like that. So, and there's like a Grim Reaper in there. So it's like, there's different levels that are themed and that type of thing. And every level has like different ways for you to kill people and get different points and all that for doing combos. So that's always cool. Like in Asia Town, you can basically like tempura people. And there's you like throw them on a giant fryer and they like turn in, and they actually turn into giant fried versions of themselves, which you can pick back up and hit people with. Or you can put it on this plate and like hit a bell and it'll go in and you get points for that. It'll like go to a restaurant or whatever. And there's like fish on there too that you can cook with it also. So you can like put a giant fish on a guy's head and then throw him on the pot and cook him with the fish and make a tempura thing with that. So there's like some really ridiculous stuff. There's a part where you throw them into like giant fireworks barrels and they shoot off and explode in the sky. It's like super over the top Tom and Jerry type stuff, but it's fun. It's totally worth a look. We said before, it's like incredibly cheap, so it's worth checking out. I know when you beat the game, you get like a double bladed chainsaw to carry around, so that's cool. You could do that on the hard mode, but
it is really cool to play these games on Nintendo hardware, you know. Especially something like the Wii, which had that mass market appeal where, you know, it was more like build as like a family or like an every person type system. But by the same token, you know, if it's for everybody, then you gotta have this hyper violent stuff, because that was really popular at the time too, which I think hyper violence is part of a lot of games nowadays, but I don't think the actual like, let's just have a super violent game. Yeah. That's not a focus of as much as it used to be. Even for a long time there, it was like, if this game is really violent, you know, it's going to sell more copies, I think.
Yeah. And I guess maybe that's what they thought. I mean, there's parts in this game where you can pale guys, like, through their asshole. Like, you basically, there's like parts where there's giant spikes coming out of the ground, and
that's like Emperor Nero stuff.
You basically pick them up and, like, stick them on the spike, and it goes, like, through their ass and out the top of their head. So, like, there's stuff like that in there that's kind of like, wow. But, there was actually a couple countries, like, kind of, like, threw a fit about the game, I guess. Like, I know England said it was, like, too violent and all that, and Nintendo actually said, like, exactly what you were saying in defense of the game, was that, they said that, like, we make, the Wii is for everyone, so there are adult games, and, you know, this will be rated for a certain age type, and, you know, those people can buy it. It's basically what they said.
I wonder how it went down in Australia, because I know they've been notorious for...
Yeah, Australia flipped out about it too.
Yeah, they've been notorious for just not even releasing, like allowing games to be released.
Yeah, where they said that it's like too overly violent, and the guys who made it were like, but it's not realistic. It's like Tom and Jerry violence, you know, it's like kind of cartoony.
It's like Mortal Kombat.
To be sort of fun, yeah. I mean, it's sort of, just like super over the top, you know.
But you see similar like fatalities in Bayonetta, I think. Like you can see that influence.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Bayonetta's not. Yeah, it's not as violent as that. You can't impale guys through the butt on
but you're still finishing off the bad guys in fairly violent ways, like cutting them.
And you're still like cutting off their arms and stuff like that.
Or like summoning a monster made out of hair to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. You can see how it kind of gets into Bayonetta, I guess, but it's It plays completely different. It's totally worth checking out though. I liked it. I liked that the Wii was so popular, and it was weird that I guess they went back on the old mentality where they're like, stuff with violence will sell, so they made a lot of these violent games for Wii, and it's not even like Sega, like other people did too.
Wasn't there a Hitman game released for the Wii that was supposedly really visceral in the sense of like how you would use the motion controls to like kill people? Well,
there was Manhunt that had that.
Oh, Manhunt, that's what I'm thinking of, not Hitman.
There was Manhunt 2, but Manhunt 2 ended up getting censored because of that. So we never really got the version that they wanted, which I never played it because...
But I think I remember reading something about like grabbing someone by the balls and like twisting their balls off.
Well, I think that was originally what they wanted to do with it, but they ended up censoring it to where they blurred everything so you can't really tell what's going on. So it ended up not being what they wanted it to, because it was actually to the point of like so violent that people actually were like, you can't do that. So they ended up having to censor it.
Wasn't that kind of a similar concept that it was like a post-apocalyptic game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have
fight to the death.
Sort of. Yeah, it's like you walk around and people talk to you through your headset, I guess, in Manhunter, and then they ask you to kill people.
And you're like killing off like criminals in like a cell block or something.
It's supposed to be kind of like, from what I heard, it's like you get to gauge like how violent you get with the person. So like if you hold a certain button for a time, it'll say like kill 1 or kill 2 or kill 3, and like the higher the number it gets, the more crazy the way you're going to kill them is. So it's supposed to like kind of fuck with you to be like how like violent do you want to be with this person, or how much do you want to torture them. It's kind of how it's supposed to mess with you, like sort of mess with your head to be like, oh well, I could just kill this guy quickly, or I can like torture him and throw him in or whatever. That was the idea of it. But I never played any of them, just especially because the Wii one got censored so much. I didn't want to play it after I heard that. But now that it's probably like $2, I guess I could rent it and try it out,
Or just buy it.
Well, yeah, did I say rent it? I meant buy it. Buy it and try it out. Yeah, dude, I could rent it for I'm sure Gameplay has it, right? That's the only place to rent games anymore now that Blockbuster's gone, so.
Redbox has games.
Yeah, Redbox has games, but not Wii games. Well, they might have Wii games, actually. They don't have Wii U games, I know that. I've looked for them before in there.
But you do raise a valid point, like, if you have a Wii U, you should check out this Mad World game, because you can get it for super cheap. If you've got a Wiimote and a nunchuck, which you need both of those things,
you do.
You can play this game.
Yeah, and you
on
can
HD TV.
You can impale some people. It looks pretty good. I played it through the component cables on the Wii, just because my Wii U has a hard time going to the Wii mode, so I just played it through my old Wii.
Well, you got your retro station.
Yeah, it's not hooked up to my retro station because I don't have standard AV cables for my Wii. I only have component cables, so I played it through the HD TV. Because I don't know where, I must have lost them somewhere. So I can't play my Wii through the old TV, because I don't have that hookup for it. So I just played it through the HD.
Oh, I bet you can get
the components
cheap.
I'm sure I can get them cheap somewhere. It's not like the GameCube component cables, which are selling for like $150. I don't know if you've seen that. Apparently they made so little of them that they're worth a lot.
Yeah, I still see people post stuff on Reddit when they randomly find them somewhere. Yeah. Buy them cheap.
Yeah. But I think that's all I can really say about Mad World. Aside from the soundtrack, it's fucking awesome. Like,
does it have that, Tears for Fears song?
What do you mean?
Mad World.
That
was a cover they did, yeah.
No, I mean, that's actually, what is it? It's the 80s punk band wrote that song. Mad World.
Oh, right.
Are you talking about
I'm thinking of another song in Donnie Darko, but yeah, Mad World was in Donnie Darko.
No, the song in Donnie Darko, that's a cover of it's a New Order song. The Mad World song is a cover of that, which the original version's way better than the Donnie Darko thing. But yeah, no, it has nothing to do with that. I remember there being a whole thing from like, people who played Gears of War thinking that it was a ripoff on that, which the only similarity is that they both have like chainsaws in them. But they're nothing like it all, so.
Big muscly men.
Yeah, but I mean but the guys in Mad World aren't stupid, like the big muscly men in Gears of War. I don't know. I think that I'd rather play Mad World than that game, but.
Well, there you go. Yeah. You got it straight from the horse's mouth, play Mad instead of Gears of War.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember there being a thing because there was a commercial for Gears of War that had that Mad World song in it, the one from Donnie Darko. And then Mad World was released later, and they're like, oh, it's a ripoff of that. I was like, no, it's nothing like it at all. It's like not a shooter. There's no guns in the game. I don't know where you're getting this.
There's no duck and cover.
No, there's not. There's not
that whole cover-based system was like what Gears of War was known for.
Yeah, and there's not even any guns though. I mean, the only similarities is that you can cut people with chainsaws in both of those. Because Gears of War, they have a chainsaw in their guns. But whatever, play Mad World. But all I can say about it. They had a pretty good voice cast too. Like I was looking up the guy who did Jack because he kind of sounded like Mark Hamill's Wolverine, which Mark Hamill did Wolverine for the Wolverine game on GameCube. If you ever played that one, but. The guy, Steve Bloom, he did a ton of voices. Like he did like some DC movies and, multiple other games and stuff like that. So like they got like full on, character, like voice actors from cartoons and all that to be the guys. So they put a lot of money into it. It's a shame that it didn't really hit. But I feel like most of Clover / Platinum games like never really hit the way they should. They're just almost too good for people to get.
Was this on any other systems or was it just on the Wii?
It was just on the Wii. Well, there was, like I said, they made a sequel to it, but it was on PS3. I remember hearing that one came out, but I don't remember. I don't remember. Like, I didn't want to play it because I didn't know what it was. Like, if I knew it was a sequel, I would have been more interested in it.
Maybe a spiritual sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it's another beat 'em up, but I remember nobody really said much about it. Yeah, Anarchy Reigns. I mean, it kind of looked like it, but it was all no black and white and all that. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to that other Wii gem, which is definitely not violent.
This is kind of a polar opposite to Mad World. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Boom Blocks.
Yeah, I played the crap out of that game too. I had both of them. Did you have the first one and the second one?
No, I haven't gotten the second one yet. I've been watching it online, like to find a cheap copy of it. I mean, it's cheap, but the first one's a lot cheaper because I think they made more of them.
Yeah. So Steven Spielberg involved in Boom Blocks, which you always had a joke that my friend John, friend of the show John, who's been on the Zelda John, he always said that Steven Spielberg's involvement was that he just had a pile of papers and he just accidentally knocked it over and he's like, make a game out of that. He's like, it's great, make a game out of it. Cause he wasn't really involved with it. But it was a pretty genius idea. It's basically like the backwards version of Jenga, knocking down. Even though there is a Jenga mode you can play in there also, where you try to move them, without knocking the tower down.
This game was a great use of the Wiimote, like everything about it, highlights the Wiimote and what it was made to do. It came out in 2008, so it was well into the life of the Wii.
Oh yeah, the Mad World was 2009, by the way. I forgot to mention that. It was in March of 2009.
Actually, this game came out in Japan first, which surprises me. I thought it was more of a Western. It's very Western looking. It's not. I mean, it looks like it's trying to be quirky in that kind of Japanese way, but it's still got a very Western feel to it. But I don't think Steven Spielberg had much to do with it. He's listed as the designer, and so he was probably also the guy that funded a lot of it. Maybe one of his friends came up with the idea. I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But as far as like why his name's on it, but he wanted to make a Wii game. He saw, as Spielberg's wont to do, he saw a platform where he could do something and make a bunch of money.
Sure.
So he's like, well, hey, let's make this game on the Wii. And, I don't think he made a lot of money off of it. I would say he probably didn't, but,
well, he made enough for them to make a sequel. Or the company did, true. I guess.
But this game is, I guess you could categorize it as a puzzle game. I think it probably is a puzzle game. But, really, the concept is simple. You have, you're using the Wiimote as your hand within the game, and you can pick things up and throw them, or there's different modes that offer different things, but mainly the mode that I've played the most is, like you said, it's kind of like a reverse Jenga, where you've got a stack of things and you have to throw balls at them to knock them over. Yeah, you want to use the least balls possible to clear the field. So once you knock something over, and it hits the ground, it disappears.
Yeah, and there's also multipliers and stuff like that. And there's certain blocks that react in certain ways to each other. Like there's chemical blocks that are green. When they touch each other, they explode. And I remember there's like vanish blocks that when blocks go into them, they disappear. And it's also, I remember there's different types of balls as well. Like there's like golf balls and baseballs and bowling balls, which do different destruction depending on how you do it. And the basis of like the main mode was basically you point at the TV and aim it up and then hit A to lock it in. And then actually you swing, and like how hard you swing is how hard the ball goes, which I thought was an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Wii Bowling in the sense that like you lock in your target and then you do your gesture. So you hold the A button down to lock your target, then you swing the remote back, and then you swing it forward to let go of A, if I remember correctly. And then that's what throws your ball. Yeah. But there's also like levels where you're actually a hand and you're grabbing things. You're doing normal Jengas.
Yeah, that's some more Jenga type thing. And there's also like there's some co-op levels that you can do. And there's like kind of a single player in the first one. I remember that correctly.
Yeah, there's an adventure mode. One great thing about this game is you unlock more and more as you go, you know. So it has a constant like sense of progression, because even the tutorial levels, like you unlock more stuff by completing all the tutorial levels within the creation mode, which I played around with a little bit. But as I mentioned at the top, even in the mode where you're just trying to like knock all the towers down, there's all these like animals standing around, and they remind me of like an anthropomorphic version of all the Minecraft animals. And this came out a year before Minecraft. I doubt this actually influenced Minecraft, but still when I see they're very cube-based, you know. This game came out in 2008, so on one hand you're like, well, yeah, it looks old, but because it's old, it's 8 years old, but it was made to just like not put graphics first. Put gameplay first, and the physics engine is the most important part of the game. But yeah, there's an adventure mode where each level or each set of worlds has a different challenge, and you're not just knocking things over. Actually, there's a lot of stuff where you're defending characters that are walking around the map, and you're trying to keep bad guys from getting to them by like staving them off or throwing stuff at them. So in a way, it's almost like a god mode, because you're protecting the characters on the screen as this like all-powerful deity that can kill the enemies around them. One thing that I didn't know until I was doing research for this episode was that one of the main composers is a guy from Devo.
Yeah, Mark Mothersbaugh. I saw that.
And if you don't know much about Devo, that's okay. Mark Mothersbaugh's done a lot of shit. And he's composed a lot of music for Tim Burton movies. You know, it's not just Danny Elfman doing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I was gonna say he's kind of like Danny Elfman, like where he had a really good 80s band and then he went on to make music for movies. I know he did most of the soundtracks for Wes Anderson movies. Mothersbaugh did.
That's and if you're a little younger, or you're just like, you know, going for that nostalgic, think about the theme song of Rugrats.
Oh, did he do that?
That was Mark Mothersbaugh. So think about that song, and that's the guy that did a lot of the music for this. So yeah, you know, you got a AAA cast. This was made by EA, so you know this is before like they brought in all the DLC controversy that EA is known for nowadays, or maybe not so much recently, but a lot of people hated EA for a while there because of all the DLC they had and all the season passes you had to get to their content and stuff. But they're a huge publisher, and they're mainly known for sports games for the longest time. But you know, so you put a publisher like EA, and then you get Steven Spielberg, which you know is a titan in the film industry. Then you get Mark Mothersbaugh, which is another titan in a sense for the music.
It's like you the clash of the
Titans. Get a lot of this together, and then you see these really simplistic graphics, but a very solid physics engine. Like the physics engine in this is the best part, because when you knock something over, you can kind of like intuitively tell how it's going to react, how it's going to fall, how it's going to interact with something else, you know. In a way, I would compare it to like almost like playing pool. Like if you play enough pool, you'll eventually sort of think, you know, as my ball hits this ball, it's going to create this reaction, blah blah blah, and in a more 3D sense. And it's really fun because in the single player mode, you're usually tasked with to get the gold medal. You can complete the level at a bronze medal, and that
and it's
you can miss a couple times or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're always going to want that gold medal because you'll see that it's possible to beat it with one throw.
Oh,
so I just find myself when I'm playing this game, like I could just play all the way through it and beat all the levels, but I'll beat a level and not get the gold, and it'll show that I could beat it in one hit. And I'm like, how can you do that? And so I'll find myself like sitting and actually you can rotate the level around and look at it. You can zoom in and out. Like there's a lot of freedom in here to like, and that's one thing I love about this game. You know, there are levels in the adventure mode that are time based. Of course, there's the levels where you're like defending characters that are walking around. So you don't have the same like luxury you have in the puzzle mode, but in the puzzle mode, you can just kind of just like sit back and relax and just move the level around, kind of
look at it.
Approach it at the angle you want. And that's what's really fun about this because it took, you know, all that the technology within the hardware of the Wii and within the Wiimote and just kind of made the most of all of it and just made it kind of a, you know, lay back and kind of relax and just have some fun and throw some balls at stacks of blocks and see what you can do.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Towards the end of the multiplayer, I remember they get into some real like Rube Goldberg type stuff going on, especially with like the chemical blocks and all that, which was always really fun. It became a party game that I played pretty often, like pretty much, along with, Wii bowling and all that. Like we used to do a lot of 4-player stuff with boom blocks. So there's some really cool creative levels that come out towards the end. And I think, you can actually make some of your own levels in the first one. I know you can in the second one.
Yeah, you can make your own levels, but the only way to share them is through the Wii Connect 24 through your friends. So it wasn't like, you know, Mario Maker where there's like an online database where everything's getting ranked and stuff.
I think the second one had that though. Like the second one had where you could download stuff online. Yeah. Cause I remember playing some made levels on that one.
But I think I would be ripping everybody off if I didn't say what these character models look like. They're like sheep and gorillas.
Yeah, they're weird.
Cows.
And they like talk to you too.
Penguins, yeah.
They make weird noises like like that, like while you're playing. I remember a lot of people would knock them out, like in the multiplayer, even though you don't actually get points for them, but people sometimes would just knock them out because they're annoying. And they would get in your way.
Anytime I would show the game to anybody, I would say, look at all these animals watching, and then I'll be like, I'm going to assassinate all of them. Yeah. And I would like take them all out. You know, my little sisters and my brothers and stuff. I think that was hilarious that I was like killing the sheep and the penguins even though I didn't need to. And but you know what? You do that in Minecraft too. That's another thing that it reminds me of, like, cause in Minecraft you just go around and kill everything if you feel like it. And there's really no consequence for it if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, sure. Some people like to do that. There's also, I'm sure you remember, you know, those levels where there was like a set of multiplayer that you could do that was just all multipliers, you know, where it had like blocks of like 10 and you would hit it on a wall and the wall would say like times 10 and times 2 and times 5 and all that. You remember that?
Oh, right. So you were hitting the blocks at the wall to.
Yeah. But you could, if you wanted to be a real dick, you could just aim from the side and just knock all of them down. You could just domino all of them, so you got all the points and nobody else could get it. But you wouldn't get any multipliers. But you could do stuff like that. Like I remember, I never actually did that, but you could do that if you wanted to be a total asshole about it. You know, they gave you that option, which is pretty cool.
Holy cow! I didn't know this. It's something worth mentioning. There's a version of this game that came out for the N-Gage.
Yeah, I'm sure that was fun to play.
On December 3rd, 2008, it was released for the N-Gage.
You basically took your N-Gage and threw it at an actual stack of things, and if it fell down, then cool. And your N-Gage is broken too, so cool also, you know.
Even better. We all know who Captain Picard's favorite system is to play.
The N-Gage.
N-Gage. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm really doing justice in my description of this game on one hand, but on the other hand, I feel like I am, because this is a very simple game. There's not a story. I mean, there's kind of a pseudo story in the adventure mode and the exploration mode or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this is just a game of like you hop in. It's kind of a virtual sandbox. Just do what you want to do. Have fun with it. Take your time. You're not going to be penalized for experimenting too much. If you are, you can just select restart level and, you know, it's fine.
Sure. I mean, it's one of those games that you just kind of have to play. And, it's probably not, I feel like they must have sold a good amount of it. Yeah.
I bought it for, I think I got it for, let me see, I'm pulling it out right now. I paid $6.99 for it. And I think it was also another one of those games I bought. I may have bought it when I bought Mad World, but, you know, $7 for the full game with the manual and the case and everything.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
Fairly
on eBay,
recently.
and you can get it for like basically like $7 or $8, like free shipping with everything. So,
And it's a
pretty cheap.
multiplayer game, so if you buy it and you have more, I don't even think you have to have multiple Wiimotes. Like you can pass the remote back and forth.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what type of game it is. But yeah, if you're playing the standard, like where you throw it at stuff and knock it over and get the points, then yeah, it's just one Wii remote. But if for like the co-op stuff, you obviously need two.
So yeah, I would recommend this. It's got a lot of different elements in it. I mean, we keep mentioning Jenga, but I mean, it's kind of like a light gun game in a way because of how you aim and everything. And it's also kind of like got some of those elements that kind of remind me of Minecraft, that you can design your own levels and everything's based on cubes and stuff. So if you really wanted to get complicated with it, you could build a house in full 3D space and rotate the level around and point and stuff. So there's a lot to this if you wanted to play around with it. I don't think the full potential of it was unlocked when it was released, because I don't think, like you said, it was purchased enough that they were able to make a sequel, but I don't remember much about people really talking about this game or playing this game. Like,
I mean, I played a lot of it when it came out, but I
did. I mean, if I remember correctly, like Blockbuster still existed at the time. I rented it from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
They had that policy where you would rent the game, and if you didn't return it in 30 days, then you bought it, and you paid just whatever the full retail price was. I actually did that. I just kept it and paid the full $60.
Yeah, I did that with Mario Kart because I couldn't find Mario Kart anywhere, the Mario Kart Wii. So I just rented it and kept it. But do you remember the head tracking thing with that? Like they were originally going to do a head tracking thing, like where you could there's actually videos of it on YouTube that you can find, but it was an actual thing that they were going to do where you pretty much wear like a Wiimote on your head, and it would like, the sensor bar would move where you were going. But I think it ended up being like too expensive in the long run. But I remember people talking about that, like when I went to parties and I would bring that game to play. Like there were a couple people who had read about that and how it had gotten shut down and all that.
I think it's really funny that when you think about it in the perspective that it's a Spielberg thing that we're bringing up as a hidden gem. And it kind of reminds me of Terra Firma when Casey's talking about like all of his favorite movies, pretty much Spielberg movies.
Like Always or 1984. Or
right,
1941.
as though they were like these independent movies no one had seen. That's kind of how I feel about how we're talking about this right now. Because this was, fucking Steven Spielberg, but it's still like, I don't know very many people that know about the Wii, and you're like, oh, did you play Boom Blocks? Like, most people are going to be like, what are you talking?
Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, most people who bought the Wii, like, just bought it and played Wii Sports, and that was it, and they didn't buy any more games for it.
Maybe they purchased, the Zelda games and the Mario games and stuff. I think a lot of people got the Mario Kart. I think that the wheel that came with it sold a lot of copies.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the highest selling Mario Kart game, just because it had such an install base.
But this is like riding that same hype train, trying to just like get as many people to play it. And it could have been great, and it was great, but I mean, what if we were still playing Boom Blocks? What if that was like, the franchise? What if that was like a sort of Minecraft-y kind of thing? I mean, it could have been.
Well, I wouldn't count it out. Like I'm pretty sure those Joy-Cons have motion in them, so you never know. They may be kind of trying to bring back the Wii with the Switch, so you might see another version of Boom Blocks. Who knows? But this time it'll be by new EA, so it'll have like 2 levels in it, and you have to buy all the rest through a season pass, as I've experienced with owning Star Wars Battlefront now. Speaking of, I understand why people don't like EA. But on that note, I think we've said enough about the gems, right? We're clocking it like over 2 hours here, like almost like 2.5. So think about putting a pin in it, unless you have anything else to say about blocky animals.
Well, let's put a pin in it and let's create some hype for next week's episode.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about some Mario stuff. So come back then, send us some emails, NintenDomain.podcast@gmail.com. Visit our website, www.NintenDomainPodcast.com, or you can find us at Facebook/NintenDomain, or you can find us on YouTube as YouTube/Figmator. And we've been your hosts, myself, Animal Block, Trey Johnson. And
Impale me. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Jereme, it's a mad, mad world. Mikowski.
It's a mad world. See you next week.
See you next week.
a beautiful world. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful world. For you. For you. For you. It's a wonderful time to be here. It's nice to be alive. Wonderful people everywhere. The way they comb their hair makes me want to say, it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place. For you. For you. For you. Hey! Tell me what I see. Boy and girl with the new clothes on, you can shake it to me all night long. Hey, hey. It's a beautiful world we live in, a sweet romantic place. Beautiful people everywhere. The way they show they care makes me want to say, it's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful